Hi everyone! Today is recording your album vlog. As you can see, I'm in our beautiful auditorium, Kassen, and I am working on my 5th album, the 4th one since I have been working here at MUW. And so I wanted to share some thoughts about the recording process, what I've learned over my many recording activities, and some tips I like to give. So the first tip is recording is very different from performing, and for me, and I think for all others who love performing, what we love about it is being on stage at the moment, the adrenaline, the excitement. You know, you get really pumped up, you go out there, you play your piece, and it's just this communicative experience with the audience, and then it's kind of over. In a recording situation, it is different because you may have to play a piece several times. There's not really the concept of a live audience. So one of the first things I like to do is to find a way to get my adrenaline up. So I play the piece through. I also try to, if possible, have someone listen or set up a camera so that there's a video going, so there's still that kind of a feeling of a performance as I'm making the audio recording, if that makes sense. So that's one tip. Another tip is with recordings, you have to really be patient with yourself because you may have to do something over and over and over again, which feels very unnatural for a performer in terms of giving your top-notch performance. You know, we usually think of a performance as something that happens right then once, and that's what the adrenaline works. So I think having endurance, and that can be something with, make sure you prepare. I always tell my students if they're making videos or something, make sure you have snacks. I have my Vega 1 bar here, which I'm not eating in the auditorium, but I just wanted to show you. And then I have in my office coffee, I have a banana, all these things are wonderful. Make sure you have plenty of water. I also like to tell people, you never know what the temperature is going to be like, so wear layers. And my favorite hoodie here. These are just kind of some advices to prepare. In terms of how do you prepare musically speaking for recording, my advice is perform the work as much as you can before you go into the studio to record it. Because the more opportunities you have to communicate it to someone on a very artistic level, the closer you will be to really understanding the work and being able to portray it on a recording, which, as I said, is different. True talk here, I love performing a lot more than recording because it's a lot more natural to me. But I think there are ways that you can make it seem more like a performance, and some things that I'm trying this time. So this album is going to be released at some point this year, hopefully, but I am recording it gradually. So I started in December, I'm doing a session now. I will do probably several sessions throughout the spring, and that is because if you watched my previous videos, I'm very busy with administrative work, with planning my Music by Women Festival, with teaching, and so I can get into the studio to record whenever I have the time, and sometimes, I'll be honest, it's not the most natural thing. You wake up, you're tired, and you have all these things on your mind, but whenever you have that opportunity to get into the studio and do it, it is better to do it, assuming you're prepared, and to try than to kind of say, I'll do it later, because in my work, later may not come because I may not have the time later to do it. And so I kind of force myself to do recordings whenever I have the opportunity to do so, and when I feel prepared to do so. I may not feel 100% going into every recording, but that is just how it goes. I am very grateful and blessed that we have this auditorium and that I am able to do that, because a lot of recording artists, they have to go into a studio and have 2 days to record, whatever, an hour of music, and that's very high pressure. This really does help to be able to do it gradually. But it is also something where I have to do it in the midst of working. I'm here on a Sunday. If you watched my administrative vlog, I shot that yesterday on a Saturday. So essentially, this is something I'm squeezing in on weekends and holidays when I can get in here and it's quiet, but also when I have the physical stamina to do this, because that's another thing about the recording process is you have to have stamina. These are, I guess, my thoughts. Really perform your pieces a lot before you go to the recording studio. So my rule is get on stage at least 3 times in front of an audience, and that way you feel really ownership of the work. Make sure you're prepared and you have supplies to help you. Make sure that you are in the right state of mind. Try to kind of block everything else out and really focus on the music that you're recording that day. And it's very important to have a sound engineer that is patient and that you feel comfortable working with. Very blessed because we have Valentin Bogdan, who is recording me in our own auditorium. So that is a very kind of a comfortable environment for me to be in. That is not always the case. I've recorded in other places, in studios before, and it is different. So whatever makes you feel comfortable about being in a space, whether it's how you dress or what you bring with you or the snacks that you have, make sure that you think about that, because it is a question of stamina and of really trying to give your best performance under very strange conditions of, maybe having to play a portion of the piece over and over and over again, which you would never really do on stage. And so that's just something to keep in mind. I'm going to show you our setup here. Okay, so this is the setup. It's really cool. Got all these ways of holding the microphones together. We are just fortunate to have this beautiful space to make the album in. And if you are interested in checking out my other albums, they are available on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, really anywhere that you get your music. And they are Celebration of Music by Women, that's my solo album, and then the 2 duo albums with Valentin Bogdan are number 1, Journey for 2, and number 2, Music by Women. Music by Women is actually a 2-piano album. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video. Let me know if you have any questions about anything, and I will see you in the next one.